Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. It's time for Sunday Comics. My face is glowing. Let's see if I can change the light color. Any of these look better? It makes the comic look good, but we'll stick with that. How's everybody? How's everybody doing? How's having a little technical difficulties? I couldn't get the camera to work, and now it's slanted. It's driving me crazy. Okay. How's everybody? Happy Sunday. Looks like we're going to have a storm. I got to go up on the roof and clean the gutters. I'm going to do that right after this. First and foremost, Heroic Tales 2 is in the middle of fulfilling. I got a big table over there. I got 4 pages of Fund My Comic to do, and then a 5th page of Kickstarter. When I say pages, it scrolls and then flip over. So I'm done with the first page from Fund My Comic. So I say I'm about 1/5 done with fulfillment. 1/5 done. But the first bit is always the toughest. I set up my laptop over there. I had to download the printer again, get familiar, set up a system. So last night around 3 a.m, I was really hitting my stride, filling out boxes and everything like that. So, but I had to go to sleep. So I, went to sleep, woke up, and now starting. I'll go up on the roof, and then once I'm done with that, I have no interruptions. I'll just put on season 2 of Gravity Falls and watch that while I fulfill all day long. I got to say, this fulfillment, so I don't know, it's not as fun as the first time. I guess the first time it was all new and exciting, and I never did it before. This time it's kind of annoying, not having as much fun. But I ordered a frozen green chili stew and chili rellenos from New Mexico. What are the odds that box will show up at the same time as all my comics? So I got about, 10 boxes of comics, and one of them was a frozen box of chili rellenos. So I put that up. So I put them all on this table over here, and for 2 days, the frozen box sat on the table, thawing. And when I finally opened it up to sort comics, I'm like, what the? Oh, man. So now it's all defrosted. It was still cold, but it was defrosted. So it's not frozen anymore, so I got to eat it all. So I'm going to be eating nothing but chili rellenos and green chili stew for the next couple of days because I paid for it. I can't throw away food. So I got 4 bags of green chili stew. Each bag, you fill up a pot. I boil it, because you don't know how long it's been in their place. Boil it, get it hot, sprinkle it with some cheddar cheese. And I didn't even go to get tortillas yet because I didn't know I had it. So last night I had with some bread, and it was good. I like chicken green chili stew better, but it was pork green chili stew. It was good. Very filling. I don't know how I'm going to eat this all, but that's that. Forgive me for blowing my nose. I got to try the chili rellenos. I'm going to try them today because I got the jarred stuff in a separate box, and I just figured that the frozen stuff would come in. But yeah, it did come in a different. But it showed up. What are the odds that it would show up in the same delivery with all my comics? So there was just boxes and boxes all over the porch. I didn't know one of them was a frozen box because it was so well insulated, it wasn't cold to the outside touch. So there you go. That's all the nonsense that's going on. Let's check out the comments. Zach Tan with my blessing. I am having a blessed Sunday. I woke up. I ate some green chili stew. I drink some delicious Tim Hortons coffee. And I'm going to talk about comics. This is a perfectly blessed day as far as I'm concerned. Got a lot of crazy stuff to do today. My new baby in the family, Christian, good job. Looks just like perfect baby. What else is there? Exciting. Thank you. Oh man, my nose is just running. Forgive me. Got my shipment email. Looking forward to issue 2. Cool. Cool. So you're in the first fifth. Good. That's good to know. Let me know if there's any problems. Oh, you reminded me. I sent out all the digital comics, so I already got a review already. So somebody liked my comic. You know, they did like a mini review on Twitter last night. So if you are watching this and you got the digital, check, because some people I accidentally sent issue 1. So if you check, make sure it's issue 2. If not, you know, email me through Fund My Comic or Twitter, or email johnslongbox@yahoo.com. Just respond to me. Let me know that you got the right file. Good morning, Omnipro. Glad, yeah, I'm glad it wasn't ruined too. It's one of my pet peeves. When you grow up with 6 brothers and sisters and everything, your parents drill into your head you do not waste food, and I still have that mentality. You do not waste food. You know, so I will eat food even if I think it's going bad. You know what I mean? But the green chili stew is fine. The only problem is, you know, if it was frozen, I could just throw it in the freezer. But it's thawed, so I can't. You know, I just gotta eat it up. Throw it in the fridge. It was still cool. Throw it in the fridge, and now I just gotta eat it. So, everybody say hello, Jay Crane. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Again, if you bought the digital Heroic Tales 2, just check to make sure you got issue number 2. A few people I accidentally sent issue number 1 instead. So, not a boomer, but I play one on TV. I play one on YouTube. All right, so this going forward, the comic, my standard Sunday comics. So this is issue 110. The name is Warhawk, and I'm going to slay you with your own danger room. Now, I keep talking about how 114, I think it was my first X-Men comic. I forget if it was 112 or 114. It's the one with Beast and Jean Grey pushing Xavier down the hallway and everybody else is in ghosty images. That was my first X-Men comic. This was the second X-Men comic I've ever seen, but I didn't own this one till years later. My friend Carl, who he was pretty much my first friend that collected comics. So he collected comics. I just bought comics as I saw them on the spinner rack. Oh, this looks cool. This looks cool. I was interested in comics, but I wouldn't consider myself a collector. He was the one that told me, like, these numbers, tell me what issue order they are, what order to read them. I didn't know anything like that. So we were down in his basement, and he showed me this comic. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, it must be so old. So I was always on the hunt for this comic, and I literally didn't find it until a comic book store opened in my area, Incredible Pulp, and that became like a big part of my childhood, that store. So this was the second X-Men comic I've ever seen, but I didn't buy it till years later, you know, when the Incredible Pulp opened. So let's check this out. So this is Dave Cockrum pencils with Terry Austin inks. And for the love of God, I didn't know that this was Dave Cockrum for the longest time. That Terry Austin inks is really strong, and you could really see how it made the John Byrne look. I mean, I thought this was John Byrne for the longest time, you know, but it's Dave Cockrum, and I didn't realize how similar Neal Adams, Dave Cockrum, John Byrne, their art had a similarity to it until I started doing this series. You know, just shows you that Marvel at the time really was going for like a style. You know, each comic had their own look, and you know, just look at this. This is just classic comic book look, comic book superhero look. So here we go. Let's open up. I'm just gonna pull down my screen for a second. To screen. There you go. If anybody is watching this and they did not order Heroic Tales, I ordered an extra. So, they're still available to get some. All right. So this is one of the famous X-Men baseball issues. Now, how old was I when I found this book? Well, I'm going to say this was 1978. So I got X-Men 114 off the spinner rack. So that was two months later, because this was like the bump to get it monthly. This was a fill-in issue. So that was 78. So I was 10. So I probably didn't get this until I was about 16, 17. Probably. I don't remember exactly. But, when the Incredible Pulp opened, I was 14. And I didn't get a job until I was 15, 16. So I didn't have real spending money. So probably 16, 17 when I finally got this. I don't know the exact numbers, but around there. So this is the X Sanction. So Chris Claremont is the author. Tony DeZunga, guest artist. Annette Cachuelo. Ooh, geez. I'm going to murder these names. Korkecki, letterer. Andy Yakchus, colorist. Archie Goodwin, editor. And thanks to Dave Cockrum for a welcome art assist. So like I said, like Marcus is saying right here, this is the one fill-in during the Byrne run. Byrne was really, really fast. But I think Byrne was also doing Iron Fist and Marvel Team Up at the time. So, and then they said, we're going to make this monthly. So this is the first monthly X-Men comic since, I don't know, was the X-Men always bi-monthly? Like even the old X-Men? So this is the X-Men like on their day off. And I love this. They're playing baseball. We got Jean Grey in her civilian outfit. Who's that? Myra McTarget out there in the whatever. I don't know baseball position. And Wolverine's in his costume. Nightcrawler's in her costume. But Colossus, Banshee, Cyclops, Storm, Xavier, they're all in their civilian clothes. But oddly, Wolverine and Nightcrawler are in their regular clothes. And this like set the precedent of after big adventures of having a day in the life kind of stuff. Everybody remembers the X-Men playing baseball. Everybody fondly remembers it. And what are they doing? They play baseball and they're using powers. So this is a perfect example of every issue is somebody's first. So they're playing baseball, and X-Men, believe it or not, wasn't the Juggernaut powerhouse yet. It was an okay. It was a good enough seller to go from bi-monthly to monthly. So it was on its way up. And literally every issue was somebody's first issue. So what are they doing? They're introducing their powers. So Colossus is hitting the ball. Jean Grey's using telekinesis. So house rule, I got to tag PD to get him out. So, it'll not be easy tough talk. So Wolverine popping his claws out. Colossus transforms into steel. I love this picture. And then, knocks him down. And what are they doing? As you say, get off me, you big lock. No, not until you sheathe your claws. This is a game, not a war. Game, war, what's the flaming difference? All right. You made your point, back off. For now, PD boy. But now ain't forever. And next time. So this is just a good way to set up who's who. So we learned that Jean Grey has telekinetic powers. We know that the big guy at bat can turn into Colossus. We know Wolverine's got the claws. And we know that Wolverine is a total psychopath. He was willing, or at least threatening, at this point, you never really see Wolverine go crazy. The only time Wolverine went full psycho was off camera when he probably murdered Fang from the Imperial Guard and stole his costume. But they didn't show it. But Wolverine's been the biggest, not glass tiger. There's another word, but he talks tough. He talks a mean fight, but he hasn't really followed through on it. But he's just, here's his thoughts. I'm gonna kill you next time. Anyone ever tell you got one hell of a chip on your shoulder? Not to my face, not twice. You can't be a loner all your life. And then Wolverine over here. I like being alone, a genie. No hassles, no complications, no grief. I live my life not knowing what love is and not caring either till I met you. So here we got, Jean Grey, Heartbreaker. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first indication of Wolverine having a thing for Jean Grey. Famously, what was it, issue 3, when Xavier had the same thoughts. Creepy Xavier, what was Jean Grey, 16 years old? Xavier was in his 30s. Never liked Xavier. So Wolverine has always, at this point, Wolverine is just the foil. He's the hothead. All he does is argue with Cyclops. And now they're setting up the love triangle. And I don't care. Jean Grey and Wolverine never worked. That is like the most forced relationship ever. I could see Wolverine having a thing for her, but her reciprocating, it just doesn't seem right to me. Myra McTaggart, she's got to go someplace. They're all talking and hurry back, Myra. But just being, they're all sitting down now. Storm really didn't do anything, and there you go. Let's see any comments. It was Tony DeZunga's birthday yesterday. Oh, okay, yeah. There's an account that tells us everybody's birthday. I forget the name of the account, but I see it. Sports were crazy difficult to regulate with superpowers. Absolutely. How you doing? What geeks do? How's everybody? Wolverine is disagreeable, but I think part of him wants to be liked. Yeah. Why else would he be on the team? Like at this point, we see that he kind of has a thing for Jean Grey. But up until now, why is he on the team? It's established already in X-Men 109. It was established right away that he quit working in Canada and came to the X-Men for reasons, literally like, that stereotype, for reasons. And now he's just on the team doing what? Going to space, fighting space aliens. You know what I mean? There's really no reason for him to be like Nightcrawler is just an outcast, and this is kind of like the only place he's accepted. Storm to me has a really, I'm a goddess and I'm helping people, and now I'm just fighting bank robbers in America. And Wolverine has the least reason to be on the X-Men, except like what you said, he wants to fit in, he wants to be liked. So that is an interesting it's interesting observation. Oh, right at the last moment, we got Stippling Vaughn. My video today is about my signed Uncanny X-Men issues. Cool. I like checking that out. I'll watch that while I'm fulfilling orders. For those of you who don't know, Stippling Vaughn has his own channel called Stippling Vaughn, and he sits in the pub. I picture, I know it's not, but I picture a British pub. I picture like leprechauns in the corner, a German barmaid in the not lederhosen, but you know what I'm talking about, the bar beer hall, big blonde, with the cleavage, and and then like a grumpy old white guy, who fought in World War II, just with a pipe throwing darts. And Stippling Vaughn just sitting there doing his art. I enjoy listening to him explain his reasons of which comic is signed. So check that out. He'll post that up later today. So let's turn the page. Oh, and Stippling. It's Boaz, not Bose. Boaz. The Printer's Devil, and Boaz. I had to look up to make sure that I was pronouncing it correctly. We got the Sea Monkeys over here. One of my favorite ads. Look at that ad. Dirty, dirty sea hippies. The Hardy Boys. Oh, man, the Hardy Boys are dreamy. Look at them. Parker Stevenson, Sean Cassidy. They're just dreamy. So now, literally this comic, out of all of the new X-Men up to 150, I mean, X-Men from like 94 to 150, I almost have memorized, read them. This one, I think I reread the least. It just feels out of place. It really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, and a different artist. So this one I know the least. But one of the things I do appreciate is, even though this is a different artist, they're keeping the architecture, they're keeping the look of the comic, the continuity, this pretty similar. So a guy comes to the door. My target answers the door. Foot. P-H-U-T is usually the sound effect of a non-lethal weapon. It's like a pneumatic air gun. It hits her, and it hits her, and it releases a drug and knocks her out. And this guy collects her, and what's he doing? He's watching the replay of or are they still out there playing baseball? They're probably still out there playing baseball. My mind, Lord's above my mind. I saved you from death, my friend, and made you a sane man once more. And I can't read it. It's so dark. I require in return that you serve me. I always be with you, Warhawk. Fail me or worse, betray me, and retribution will be swift, finalizing an agony. I understand, Chris, you're a nameless, faceless soul. So Warhawk captured Myra McTaggart, or at least drugged her, and he's doing the bidding of some unnamed foe with maddening psychedelic powers. Who could it possibly be? So let's check out the comment. Hey, Pops is here. Hey, y'all, we'll be covering Defenders 7 today on Comics Across the Pond. Hope is all as well. Yeah, everything's going well, Pops. Haven't heard from you in a while. I gave you my number. I thought you were going to call me. You said you wanted to discuss something. Sea hippies. She's a fiery, tempered, dirty blonde. Who? Jean Grey? Jean Grey's redhead, right? She's like the are you talking about the barmaid? Good for you then. Good for you. Maybe something should be said out loud and not put into thought bubbles. Or what? Oh, good Lord, his face. Pull yourself together, woman. You've seen plastic surgery before. Space Monkeys coming soon on Kickstarter. No lot. Oh, well, okay, cool. You got a project coming up. Good for you. Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, a great team up. Space Monkeys, interesting, cool. You already got somebody interested in your comic. Good job. Got this Dracula eating Slim Jims. That face is maddening. Rockets that you fly. Meanwhile, back out in the X-Men's improvised playing field. I should get out here more often. Living in Greenwich Village, you kind of lost track of things like green grass and fresh air. Hey, Jeannie, you up for some 9-ball and a round of brew? So what do we got here? She's using her telekinesis to push Xavier, and then Wolverine is being a snake. You know, I already explained that in the Long Island 80s. If you were hitting on a girl, you were macking. I didn't make these up. So when you're hitting on a girl, you're macking. But if you're hitting on a girl you shouldn't be hitting on, like your buddy's sister or your buddy's girlfriend, then you're snaking. Wolverine's snaking on Jean Grey. That's a first. Wolverine never asked for company before. And why Jean? Come on, Scott. Stop being a dope. Hate to spoil your afternoon, Wolverine, but you have to take a rain check. The X-Men have a date with the Danger Room. A workout? Oh, no. Yes, Nightcrawler. What's the matter, leader man? I'll taking a day off bother you? Think what you like, Wolverine. Everyone change into costume. I'll brief you when we're inside. So, she's helping Xavier up the wheelchair, and they're talking. On the other hand, how vulnerable is a woman who's matched Philod's power and then saved the universe? Not very. Misty makes jokes calling me her cosmic roomie. I wish I could laugh about it. So this is just through dialogue and whatever. We're learning a bit about the characters. So we're learning that Jean Grey doesn't live with the X-Men anymore. She lives in Greenwich Village. Greenwich Village, at this point, or at least in the 60s, was like the hipster, cool guy, the artist community in Manhattan. I think even by this time, it wasn't really artsy-fartsy, but like the Roy Thomas and all those guys, Roy Thomas used to live in Greenwich Village. He actually lived in the house that had the address for Doctor Strange. So, and at that point in the 60s, it was artsy-fartsy, hippie art guys. At this point, I think it's just, not even crackheads, proto-crackheads, and then it got a little worse. And now it's like finance bros, So they're letting you know that Jean Grey, not only is she super powerful, she lives in the artsy-fartsy community, and her roommate is Misty Knight. I just love that, how the X-Men have their own like little continuity with side characters. Misty Knight is part of Power Man Iron Fist, and Power Man Iron Fist is also drawn by John Byrne, and it was written by Chris Claremont. So they're interconnecting. When Chris Claremont writes Power Man Iron, well, he writes Iron Fist. I don't think there's Power Man Iron Fist yet. He writes Iron Fist, and he also writes Marvel Team Up, and then John Byrne draws. So we got these three little comics, that little not Easter eggs, I don't know, whatever, just connective tissue, fascia that's just binding them together. I love that kind of stuff, and it's when that kind of stuff started getting broken and contradicted that first just sent me gave me like disjointed feelings, and then later full on I can't deal with Marvel anymore. Then the politically correct. I mean, there was always politically correct, but then the woke stuff. Woke was the final form of political correctness. So I love this. This is just setting up all this. So we're up to page 10. The only action that happened was baseball, and then Meyer McTaggart getting assaulted, and then boom, this guy pops out. What does he do? Takes him by surprise. Xavier's taken out, and Jean Grey's taken out. Why? Literally the two most powerful guys who could stop it. This is the plot destroying characters. Xavier could mind read his way out of anything, and Jean Grey is just cosmic level power at this point. So they got to take her out. Now again, if she was the Phoenix Force, would she be taken out by tranquilizer darts? I'll never accept the Phoenix Force. That's my hill to die on. So I love this. It's incredible. One dart should have taken out a bull elephant, and another dart probably kill you, lady, but that's your problem, not mine. So he has to shoot her twice. And then this will be basic training around people, and to test our individual powers and our ability as a teamwork. We'll get, Jean, images flooding my mind, fear, pain. The professor. So as Jean is getting knocked out, she sends a telepathic warning call to Cyclops. Are you all right? Jean hit me with your telepathic linkage. Upstairs, on the pronto. The door slams shut. I'll take care of it. So now the Danger Room powers activate. I always laugh because almost every time the X-Men go into the Danger Room, it becomes a danger. Like, not a test. It becomes a legitimate threat. It's like the holodeck. Every time anybody in the X-Men, the Star Trek goes into the holodeck, if I was, head of Starfleet Command, the first order I would issue is disconnect that stupid holodeck. It is nothing but problems. This danger room is nothing but problems. So, boom, Colossus gets hit by the rebound machine, and he's taken out. I always love that. It's such a comic book trope that you hit something and then the force field reflects the damage back onto. But you better believe I use that in my role playing game as a trap. So let's check out the. Hey, once was cool. How you doing? How's everything? How are you? Good morning. I always forget. Is this Crenshaw? Is this Crenshaw? I always forget. And if it is Crenshaw, I will be boxing up and sending out your cosplay cover. So you got to get me your address. Good morning, John, in the chat. How you doing, Ben? How's everybody? Burn interconnected book with shooters. Yeah. Jim Shooter was big on the continuity, and it worked. If you ask me, it made it feel like a coherent universe. And I'm sure if I was to go through all the comic books with a fine-tooth comb, I would find mistakes. But even, I was going to say for the casual reader, but I was more than a casual reader. But, for the most part, it held up. I'm sure there's continuity errors. I'm sure there's got to be. But for the most part, it held up. Hey, we got Dave here. How you doing, Dave? How's everything? The Worf effect, where powerful characters get taken down for the plot to work or to establish the threat level. I know. Garbage can lands on Worf and breaks his spine. Yeah. Worf. Oh, he beat up Worf. Yeah, well, so did the bunny rabbit from Epsilon 7. So many panels per page, lots of story for your $1. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Dave, for those of you who don't know, this is Dave Brink, Genuine Comics. He makes the best superhero comics books come out now. I hope someday that my superhero comics are as good as Dave's. But Dave's been doing it a couple of years. He earned it. I'm still a newbie. Dipping. I no longer have my toe in the water. I got 2 comics. I got my foot in the water. I'll hope to get up to my knees pretty soon. But Dave is doing it right. Now, Dave, what do you think? This is a question to you. Are we skewing towards less panels per page? When I write a script, by default, I go for 5 panels a page. That's my, unless I want a splash page or something, I just feel that, and it's all feeling for me. It's all feeling. There's no rules for this, but I just feel that 5 panels is enough, that the customer's not going to complain. I don't want to do Image Comics where it's, every page is a splash page or whatever. So, sometimes more, sometimes less. If I go to 6 or 7 panels, that's because, each page has like a theme and a continuity, and I don't want to go to the next page because either it's a scene break or it's a mood break or it's a change of a story beat or something like that. I don't know. What do you feel, Dave? What do you have, like a standard, or does each page you treat? But I just feel 5. The danger room is dangerous. Yeah. Yes, Crenshaw. Yeah. Because of this, I get mixed up. Yeah. Did you get your digital comic? Check it to make sure you got issue 2, Crenshaw. Check it. Damage can be reflected, deflected, scattered, consumed, blocked, or taken. Yes. I rarely have pages with more than 6 panels. I like the art to breathe. Yeah. 7 panels is sometimes necessary. You'll see in the Mary Sue story, I have 1 page with 1 billion panels, but each panel is just a close-up face of a superhero, because it's supposed to be just like, them looking at the screen. You guys tell me if that worked. But yeah, I agree. This is a lot. This is just old Bronze Age, The panels are not different colors here. Yes. Yes and no. Let's look at this one because there's a lot of panels. Look at each panel. They, like they do have, to me, we got two over here that share the same background. We got two over here that share the same background. This one has this purple, but for the most part, I would say like this has the same as this, but they're not next to each other. So I think the colors are doing a good job of keeping it separate. You know, so yeah, I always think that like the majority color should be different from panel to panel. Otherwise, you don't know what the hell you're looking at. It's hard to distinguish each panel. But I see what you're saying. But it's working. You know, we got two over here, these two over here, these two over here. But for the most part, I'd say that, you know, the majority are different. What do we got here? Is doing Space Monkeys. He got the Aussie up. There you go. Check that out. Marcus is bringing up the links. Cool. In Perfect 10-6, we have one page with technically 35 panels. Wow. Is it like same thing that I did with a close-up on everybody's face or something like that? Wow. Check Facebook DMs after the show. You got it, John. You got it, John. You got it, John. I'm Pops. Okay, I thought maybe you were mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Well, you can be mad at me. It's up to you. I can't. Like my mom used to say, don't tell me how to feel. I wouldn't like you to be mad at me, but I don't know. I gave you my phone. You know, I felt like a jilted girl. I gave him my phone number. Why didn't he call me? Marcus, put that as a romance cover. There you go. Look at the Star Wars art. Check that out. Man, Star Wars was such a phenomenon. It's such a shame what they did to Star Wars. Such a shame. So now you got me paying attention to the colors per panel. Like this one. Like the only ones with two are these diagonally, but I think diagonally is okay. What the flamin'? I love like these fake curses. Cripes. Flamin'. Energy backlash hit Colossus near killing strength, but that's impossible. Unless the safety interlocks were sabotaged. The damn safety locks are sabotaged every time they go into the X. Every time they go into the X room. Every time they go into the danger room. Every time they go into the danger room, they shut the door. Safety locks are disengaged. Same thing with the freaking holodeck. X-Men, scatter. You know, everybody's just getting hit with nonsense. Pile driver, or up to that on the wall. Slamming me towards the wall. You know, I can't move. So Wolverine, Nightcrawler got hit in the breadbasket, knocked the wind out of him. He's stunned. In role-playing terms, he failed his danger roll. Storm over here saves him. So we're at page 14. Storm is doing something. That is really tough, I gotta say. I wrote one team story so far. It's going to be in Punchline Annual number 1. It's done. It's in Bill's hands now. And it was tough to give every character. So that has all like my stable of characters. Got the Patriarch, Marshall Strong, Magnum, Public Eye, Mary Sue, King Fu, and Starlet. And then they meet Mel from Punchline. And it's hard to give all of them something to do in the team fight. Now, Patriarch number 2 is mostly Patriarch meeting Raven, and battle ensues. Patriarch number 3 is a team fight. You know, to me, that's going to be the equivalent of like Marvel Team Up Annual number 2. You know, it's going to be all the guys on one team fighting all the guys on a supervillain team. Man, am I dreading, because you got to give everybody something cool to do, and you got to choreograph the fight, and you have to pay attention in your mind. I said Marcus, the first Public Eye story, and he fought 4 thugs, and as he's writing, you know, he's plotting it out, doing his thumbnails, whatever it is on it. He goes, John, what happened to the 4th guy? And I'm like, what? He goes, the 4th guy. So I reread the skit. So the Public Eye only dealt with 3 of them. So I said, just get rid of the 4th guy. I don't know what to tell you. I lost track. So the Public Eye started fighting 4. Good thing Marcus didn't draw that page yet. And then we just deleted one guy. And then Stippling is doing the Printer's Devil, and I literally lost track of one of the characters. And they were all named, and they all had something to do, so we couldn't delete one of the characters, but I lost track of one of the henchmen. So Stippling read the, I guess he's plotting it out with thumbnails and stick figures, stuff like that. And he's like, what happened to Andrew? And I was like, what are you talking about? So I was like, oh yeah, he kind of just stopped being mentioned. So I had to add some stuff to one of the pages to deal with Andrew. You know what I mean? And so this is cool that Claremont is able to keep all of these characters. Where are they in his mind? Give them something to do. So this is the first time Storm is doing something. And what is she doing? She's rescuing Nightcrawler. That's a heroic thing. And then, of course, she gets caught up in this mesh, which we all know is going to be trouble, because what's her weakness here? Claustrophobia. So, of course, and that to me is excellent. She's got a weakness that is an actual handicapped. I'm trying to think of like other characters, like their weakness. Like, how often does Green Lantern encounter something that's yellow? Well, in the early days, every freaking issue, everything in the bed, every robot, every meteor was yellow, and it just doesn't seem to work. But in a real world situation, something like claustrophobia does affect. She gets wrapped up in this constricting net. That's claustrophobic. That's awesome. So now we got Wolverine. He's losing his footing. Colossus is getting back. So what are they doing? They're doing a fastball special. Why? He's cutting this mesh off of Storm before Storm freaks out. He knows this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Storm is going to cause. She's going to become a danger worse than the Danger Room if we don't do something now. And I like that. It gives us. If we've been following the characters, we know what's going to happen. So it increases the drama. It's a ticking clock. If we don't know the characters, this is showing us their foibles, their weaknesses. It just masterclass in how to do this stuff. So Wolverine, and now we're learning Wolverine's precision. I got no margin for error. If I don't cut deep enough, they won't get free. If I cut too deep, whoever said living life was easy. My thanks, Wolverine. Don't sweat it, babe. I'm doing the same for any frail. So Wolverine, I'm doing the same for any frail. I love that. He's called chicks are frails. 23 Skidoo. Hey, Razor Wings headed for Psych. So a Razor, I ain't spotted him. If I just butt out, presto, I got a clear track with Genie. So Wolverine is literally thinking about letting Cyclops get killed so he could snake on his chick. Trouble is, back shooting ain't my style. When Summers and me finally have it out, it's going to be face to face. So is he tricking himself? Is he really a good guy who's trying to tell himself that he's a bad guy? Or is he a bad guy with a sense of honor? The Lady of the Tiger. Either way, it fills up some lines of done. That's what I owe you, Wolverine. I've got to hit the panic button before the computer realizes it missed me. That should freeze the main programming. It's not working. All the safety circuits have been bypassed. The Danger Room's still running. Go figure. That always happens. It's the Danger Room. Every time you go into the Danger Room, it just puff of smoke. Everything goes crazy. Don't go in the Danger Room. Where are we? 35. Good thing Cyclops didn't blast that door. Oh yeah, yes. If Cyclops had blasted the door, he would have been hit. It would have just pulverized him, right? Colossus at least Colossus could take one of his own punches. Well, Cyclops is immune to his own blasts. So that begs the question. Now, if he had hit the door, does the door reflect that blast back at him, or does the door absorb the energy and then backlash at a different energy? Interesting. I don't know. Making fight scenes work with multiple characters, all different abilities, is a headache sometimes. Yep. And I got to say, your comics, it's some of those issues is just a free for all with like 30 characters on the page, Dave. Good job. You know, you the only other comic I compare your fight scenes to are those Paul Levitz, Steve Leahy, Legion of Superheroes. Just a million characters blasting each other, and you keep track of them all. Good job. Hey, we got RJ Williams over here. RJ3. I just mentioned you the other day. You're the only person to guess something that I'm going to put in Patriarch number 1. No spoilers. You already spoiled it, but nobody watches my channel, so I know. The color yellow is a stupid weakness. I agree. The DC weaknesses I hated. Wolverine's athletic abilities are insane in that series. This series, this one. So let's go to the next page. As long as we're trapped inside, we're at the computer's mercy. There's no way out, unless Nightcrawler. You rang, Fearless Will? Listen up, both of you. We're in a race against time, and we're losing. Sooner or later, we'll each make a mistake, and the computer will zap us. We got to shift the odds in our favor. Agreed, Cyclops. But how? Outside the Danger Room is the primary power terminal. I want you to teleport out there and shut it down. Without power, all these fancy gadgets become so many pieces of expensive junk. Can you do it? I can try. Take Wolverine with you, just in case there's a reception committee. Hold tight, Wolverine. This is going to hurt. Now, as far as I know, this is the second time Nightcrawler is teleporting with somebody else. So let's see what he says. I barely survived when I pulled this stunt with Princess Leandra. Wolverine's smaller, but he's way larger than she was. The strain could tear us apart. Bamf. Must admit, I had some doubts. Some trip, Wolverine? So tired, body all twisted inside. Strain was almost more than I could bear, but we made it, pal. Wolverine, did you hear me? We made it. I love that. I love that. Because Wolverine now, I mean, Nightcrawler. Why do I keep saying Wolverine when I mean Nightcrawler? Nightcrawler now could grab anything and teleport. Bing, 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 bing. But at this time, it was a freaking strain to teleport with other people. And Wolverine, now, is it established that Wolverine has metal bones? Not yet. Not yet. You know, all the stuff that we take for granted about these characters hasn't been solidified yet. You know what I mean? There's two schools of thought. Schools of thought is like retroactively it always works. But realistically, it's not part of the comic until we mention it's part of the comic. Like, we all know Wolverine has adamantium bones. But at this point, did Claremont make that up? Is it established? No. So this is a good, happy quit. Like, teleporting Wolverine was such a strain. He just teleported how many pounds of adamantium, you know, across time and space. You know what I mean? That was a strain. I love that. They both pass out. Well, Nightcrawler wasn't ready because he teleport. How tall is Wolverine? 5'3". So he probably expected a little bit easier, but he didn't know that he was packed with adamantium. Boom, and they both pass out. So it's great because they're beyond danger, but they're passed out. So now the X-Men inside the Danger Room, they need to, keep going until help arrives. But help is sleeping on the other side of the wall. It's just excellent. So now we got Storm cut loose. You know, she really didn't get a chance to do anything. So now she's flying around. She gets hit by a bolt, and now she's getting boxed up. We saved her from claustrophobia, but now she's trapped inside another box. Now I mustn't panic. I must control my fear. I'm no longer a child frightened by the dark. I'm Oro, Storm, mistress of the winds. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid! You know, Storm's inside that box. She's a total claustrophobe, lad. We've got to get out of here before she cracks. It's hard to imagine Storm having a weakness. It's not something she talks about. I wouldn't have known it myself if I hadn't seen her go to pieces when we fought my cousin, Black Tom and Juggernaut. So this is kind of interesting. I didn't catch this. Cyclops doesn't know that Storm has a weakness. Cyclops doesn't know that Storm is claustrophobic. That's interesting. Only Banshee knows. So that's that. I like that. I like that. So there we go. So let's check out the. How do superhero train in the long box universe? Do they put their powers to the test? How do they train? Well, I didn't explain that yet, but there is danger room kind of stuff. There is, testing and the main super team, the team that the Patriot is on, is the Metal League, and they are sponsored by the government. And Marshall Strong is an agent who runs the team, and he has access to the funds and everything like that. And he does training exercise. You'll see the Patriarch. It didn't really come up in the two issues that I put out, but you'll see he's kind of resents going away from his family and doing these training exercises and being part of the team. He likes being the solo hero. He likes being in his home turf. He likes protecting his city. He doesn't like going to New York and doing all the training and the missions and stuff like that. But yeah, they do have training exercise, and he has to meet so many meetings as part of his sponsorship of the government. Again, most of the superheroes have some sort of, in my world, have some sort of agreement with the government. Otherwise, just the costume itself. Think about a superhero costume, able to resist power, stuff like that. Just think of the resources, medical. Patriarch's wife's got that kit, and she'll cotton swab the bruises, stuff like that. But like, what happens if he's broken bones and serious life-threatening surgeries, stuff like that? Working on a farm, doesn't have health insurance, so he has to fulfill his obligations to keep the government benefits going. And there's other secrets that you'll see in Patriarch #1. Crenshaw, I just checked the digital comics. Looks like you sent issue 1. Yeah, okay. Send me an email or a DM to remind me to send you the file. Storm seems to yell, "I'm not afraid." Yes, who's she fooling? It's to let us know that, yeah, she's freaking out. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Now we got the letters page. This is apologizing for a fill-in issue. Back when they actually cared about stuff like that. I like looking at the Richard Roeder next issue. Then this is the I think once a year they had to put out this like statement of publication. That's what that is. And what do we got here? We got the superhero roster over here. Look at all that. Just classic superheroes. And don't worry, lass. Help's on the way. Sonic Scream combined with Cyclops Optiblast will have you free. Safe preserve us now. Sound baffles. G covering everywhere. Surface that dampened me scream, creating an area of null sound around me. Without me sonic powers, I can't fly. I love that. So he's flying until he realizes that there's no barrier. It's kind of like Wile E. Coyote running off the cliff and not falling until he realizes he's not standing on the ground. Managed to break the fall on the wreckage. Yeah, he landed on some debris. That'll break the fall. Banshee wasn't so lucky. We hit hard. We better check. Oh, brother, what is it? A little surprise. The professor said he was cooking up. It's a big robot. Lenon's ghost. So he's hitting the robot, and what does the robot do? He hits him with like some sort of like syrup. That's like a sticky glue. That's a great weapon against a strength guy. You can't punch it, Feel like his baby. Strength almost all burnt out. This is rough. Can't get, struggling. Must struggle. The inner dialogue letting us know how tough it is for him to do that. So what does Wolverine do? He's just ripping everything apart. Better lever the door open. Wouldn't worry about it, midget. You got troubles of your own. Do tell Bub. Where I come from, those are fighting words. Look at this horrible drawing of Wolverine over here. I wonder if Tony is running out of time and rushing now to finish. So look at this. He's got the gun drawn on Wolverine. But no more comments. So I am the ultimate soldier. I am Warhawk. Oh, kidding? Well, I'm Wolverine, bub. And if either of us have brought himself a whole mess of trouble, it's you. Lord, he's cut the dart in half in midair. Like my name said, I'm fast, and when I get mad, people get hurt. Huh? My claws bounced off like he was made of steel. So not only does he look like Colossus, he's got some sort of armor or invulnerability. It seems I've underestimated. As far as I know, this is like the first time Wolverine actually claws struck somebody that we've seen. You know, there was that he murdered Fang in off panel, but right now, boom. For a guy who's basically Stab Man, we never really get to see him stab anybody. I mean, it is the Comics Code Authority. You know, so Warhawk is tossing Wolverine around, so they're just fighting. So Wolverine is literally hitting with his claws. You know, Wolverine, my orders were to serve you people, to find out, to observe you people deserve. Find out, so he's observant. You could try. Yow. That blasted door burned me. Now it's starting to glow. What's going on there? Boom. Colossus comes blasted out. The days you're welcome to try again. I ain't no match for their power. I haven't a prayer against the 5 of them. Do us a favor, bub. But the master gave me a gas bomb, an aerosol variant of the dart. I'm immune to it, but one whiff and the X-Men will drop like flies. You looking for this? Oh, no. Now look at this. He's got this horrible costume with like 2 crosses on it. Again, no comments, so we'll just keep going. Secret 3000. Marvel premiere. I have it. I read it. I have absolutely no recollection of it. Spider-Man spoils a snatch. Don't you hate it when Spider-Man spoils your snatch? And he gives his snatch some cupcakes over here. I was going to make a real dirty joke, and I'll keep it to myself. So Nightcrawler gets to punch Warhawk. Boom. Ow. Colossus' jaws, like yours. It's as hard as steel. So Colossus croms him. And he gets arrested, taken out. Just one more thing, Professor. According to the Federal Flyer, Warhawk is supposed to be unstoppable. So how'd your school of kids do it? Luck, Captain Delaney. Why? I wasn't expecting a straight answer either. Because that satisfies the cops. Just give them a flippant answer, and the cops are satisfied with that flippant answer. And they leave. The captain seems upset. I and my school have a notorious reputation, or not altogether surprising when you consider what occasionally goes down. Captain Delancey wants explanations, and I have yet to give one that he likes. The constant frustrations tend to make him somewhat irritable. So now Jean Grey is feeling bad because she was taken out. You know, so Xavier and Phoenix were taken out because of plot, because, you know, and then the rest of the X-Men are there's something more to this meeting. Jean almost sounds wrong, scared. Blessed woman, I want to help. Why would you talk to me? Any idea what Warhawk came from? And, you know, none. Scotty seems to, on surface, to be just another villain. It was totally shielded against mine and Jean's telepathic powers, pattern of attack, blah, 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 blah. I sense powerful forces. So next issue, Wolverine gets his wish, and maybe wishes were kept. His mouth shut, Byrne and Austin return, and the X-Men simply disappear. Mind games. It's the greatest show on earth. So now we find out what's up with Warhawk. This was a total, I mean, some guy breaks in, takes out the 2 telepaths, and then the X-Men fight the Danger Room. What a non-existent plot. But it worked because the characters were great. The dialogue is great. The action was well drawn out and choreographed. But the plot is paper thin, you know, just paper thin. You know, but it worked because everybody was a pro. Now, continuity error that I didn't pick up until now. In X-Men 95 or X-Men 94, the government calls in the X-Men because the Avengers were elsewhere. So the government knows about the X-Men. The government knows that the X-Men are a team of superheroes. They know how to contact them. But over here, the police don't know anything about, well, maybe it's not. Okay, I take it back. The public at large knows about the X-Men, but the public at large doesn't know that the Xavier School is the home. Okay, all right. It's resolved. It's resolved in my mind. Look at Cyclops looking like Wonder Man, the safari jacket, the glasses. So next issue, we continue this story and we find out who was making Warhawk observe everybody. I love this ad. I love the Stormtrooper checking out the Star Wars poster. It's like, wow, this is so cool. You know, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi's tap. I always thought this was the funniest thing. Obi-Wan Kenobi's got a blue lightsaber, you know, tapping him on the shoulder. We got Luke and Leia, you know, arm in arm. That's not the way brothers and sisters, you know, hang out. Chewbacca. Poor Chewbacca. Did any other character in Star Wars get screwed? The way Chewbacca is just an accessory to everybody else. And the evidence, the unarguable proof is in the movie where Rey beats Han Solo. Han Solo gets killed, and it's just like, here you go. You get the Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca. You know what I mean? Not like Han Solo's been hanging out with Chewbacca for 50 years. Han Solo's dead. That's Chewbacca's ship. He just goes off, you know? It's my ship now. Oh, no. I'm just an accessory. I'm not a full-fledged character. I just get handed off to the next person. Xavier, who's that? The leader of the X-Men. So there you go. That's X-Men 110. The fill-in issue. Again, I don't know what else to say. This was fun. This is like one of my lesser favorite X-Men. Like I said, the plot is paper thin. It's nothing. It's they must have just like, oh man, we need another issue. What happened? The Danger Room goes crazy. Why does the Danger Room go crazy? Warhawk, right? So you know, it was just a nothing. But a series like this could afford a nothing issue every once in a while. Why? Because it's so well written. The characters are so rich and deep that they could do a goof issue every once in a while because it's well done. You know what I mean? Like this is just like Chris Claremont has like I picture him with like the board with all he's got all the plots all plotted out and everything like that. Oh, we need another issue. Okay. Everything is so plotted out and the world is so rich and we know all these characters so well that they could just insert a nothing story and all the richness just seeps into it, you know? So it's pretty cool. You know, even though it's not the best, it's still good. It's still light years above, hate to say it, like DC Comics at the time, you know? Yeah, Leia hugs Rey and skips Chewie. Yeah, right? She goes right past Chewbacca. Right past Chewbacca. Onto the long burn run. Yep. You mean Charles Xavier? Never heard Xavier before. Yep. That's exactly what I mean. So, I don't know. So, let me tell you this before I forget. So, I didn't realize that Tuesday is Veterans. Well, I knew Tuesday was Veterans Day, but it's weird on my job. Sometimes jobs have their own agreements. And some holidays are accepted as holidays. Some holidays are not accepted as holidays. So Tuesday is a holiday on this job. So I'm not working on Tuesday, but they took availability. So I put myself on the availability list because I wasn't counting on being off. So I might as well work. So it's time and a half, you know, plus the extra money for working the crazy shift. So Tuesday I might be working. Or I might not be working. So if I'm not working, RJ and I will do a comic book team up since I miss being with RJ and I miss streaming at a regular time. So if I'm not working, Tuesday I'll have a comic book team up with RJ. If I am working, who knows what I'm going to be doing. Yeah. So other than that, I'm fulfilling comics. Like I said, I'm breaking it up in 5 pages, because there's a full page and then you got to click on the next. So Fund My Comic has 4 pages full of backers, and then Kickstarter has 1 full page of backers. So there's 5 pages. I'm done with 1 page. So I'm done with 1/5 of fulfillment. I didn't bring anything to the post office yet because they're not open. So tomorrow I will be going. I'll wake up with a car full of packages and put everything in the mail so far. Now, Crenshaw, email me or message me on Twitter. So I will send you. I just got another message that somebody I sent them the number 1 by accident. So message me and I will do it right now as soon as I'm done. So not double time and a half, just time and a half. Double time and a half with the nighttime differential. And you're paid for the holiday too. Yes, we have 10 paid holidays. Now, we have 3. This is apropos of nothing, but the way my job works is I have 3 choices for holiday pay. Just don't get paid, and that money goes into my 401k. Get paid, and I get a check, for that holiday, or take the 10 holidays and get 1 check in December, for 10 holidays, and then use that for Christmas money. I don't have kids. I don't need Christmas money. And once in a while I could do without a pay. So that money, holiday pay, just goes right into my 401k. So next week I'll get paid for 4 days instead of 5 days. And then, that extra holiday money will go right. So every year, 10 extra days just go into my phone. If you need, if you're working and 10 days of pay are going to make or break you, you're doing something wrong. So for 22 years, I've been doing 10 extra days pay going into 401k. 401k is doing excellent, guys. Don't worry about me. We get all the holidays off plus a floating holiday. That started a couple of years ago. Cool. It's good having a real job. It's good having a job. It allows me to make comic books after work. If I'm not going to mention names, but I'm friendly with somebody who wants to do comic books for a full-time job. And I'm just like, get a real job and make comic books on the side. How many super rich comic book people are there? Look at all of these people now begging somebody for promotion because they got nothing. And it doesn't matter how bad that person gets, they have to put up with it because they got no choice. They're beholden upon it. Just get a real job, make yourself independent, make comic books on the side. And if you are lucky enough that comic books can pay all your bills, then make it. But right now, comic books ain't going to pay anybody's bills. That's my advice. So, Dave Brink, if you're still watching, I assume you have a full-time job. And that's not a slight. That's something smart. But anyway, I'm going to go and I got to go up on the roof, clean out the gutters. I got to send Crenshaw the real file. And then I got to spend the rest of the day doing stuff. And I got, I forgot there was something else. Oh yeah, I got to go. I'm losing track. Something else. Okay, something important. I don't know. It'll come to me 2 seconds later. But anyway, that's the end. So I guess I will say goodbye, kids.